The Miami sun glared against rows of exotic cars lined up outside a luxury auction house. Among them gleamed a rare $19 million Bugatti La Voiture Noire, its black surface polished to mirror perfection. But its engine wouldn't start. The billionaire owner, Richard Kane, paced furiously, his designer suit gleaming under the light. Cameras flashed. Investors waited. The pressure was suffocating. Unbelievable, Richard muttered, waving off his top engineers. None of you can even start the damn car? The experts glanced at each other in silence, sweat rolling down their temples. The crowd murmured impatiently. That's when Samantha Sam Reyes stepped forward, a 26-year-old mechanic in a grease-stained coverall, hair tied back, hands still smudged from her last job. She worked at a small auto shop nearby, and she'd only come to deliver a missing wrench set for one of the techs. But now all eyes turned to her. "I can take a look," she said quietly. Richard laughed with the cold, disbelieving kind. "You? This isn't a pickup truck, sweetheart. It's a Bugatti worth more than your entire shop." Sam didn't flinch. "Then you've got nothing to lose, right?" The silence that followed was tense enough to slice with a wrench. A few of the engineers smirked. Others waited to see her fail. Richard crossed his arms. "Fine. You've got 5 minutes." Sam slipped into the driver's seat, her fingers brushing over the sleek controls. She didn't touch the start button yet. Instead, she listened. The subtle hum of the electronics told her enough. "You replaced the starter fuse with the wrong amperage," she murmured. "And your air intake valves locked." The engineers blinked. She moved quickly, popping open the rear compartment. Within seconds, she replaced a fuse, adjusted the valve housing with the wrench she'd brought, and checked the ignition link. Her movements were confident, precise, not guessing but knowing. When she finally pressed the button, the Bugatti roared to life, its engine purring like a beast awakened. The crowd gasped. The cameras went wild. Richard's jaw fell open. He looked at his head engineer, who muttered, "She's right. We missed it completely." Sam stepped out, wiping her hands calmly. "There you go," she said simply. For a moment, the billionaire just stared. Then he burst out laughing, not mockingly this time, but in disbelief. "You just outperformed a team of engineers who get paid 6 figures a year," he said. Sam shrugged. "Engines don't care how rich you are, sir. They just need someone to listen." That line hit him harder than she realized. Later that evening, as the crowd dispersed, Richard found her at the parking lot, leaning against her old Ford pickup, tools tossed in the back. "You really know your stuff," he said, softer now. "Where'd you learn that?" "My dad," she replied. "He used to fix farm machines. When he died, I just kept learning. Didn't have the money for college, so I learned from broken engines instead." Richard smiled faintly, glancing at her truck. "You know, I've interviewed hundreds of people with degrees and resumes longer than my car list. None of them could have done what you did today." She met his gaze. "Sometimes you just have to get your hands dirty." There was a pause, one of those moments where two worlds collided. The billionaire who had everything, and the mechanic who had nothing but skill. "Come work for me," he said suddenly. Sam blinked. "You're kidding." "I'm not. I'm building a new division for high-performance engine diagnostics." "You'd lead it," she laughed softly. "You don't even know me." "I know you just saved me from losing millions in front of the world," he replied. "That's enough." Sam hesitated. "What's the catch?" "No catch," Richard said, handing her his business card. "Except maybe I'll expect you to teach my engineers a thing or two about humility." She took the card, eyes wide. For the first time in years, she felt something she hadn't. Not pride, not relief, but recognition. 2 weeks later, Sam walked into the Kane Automotive Research Facility in a crisp uniform, her name stitched over her heart. The same engineers who'd laughed at her now stood in quiet respect as she ran diagnostics on a prototype supercar. Richard watched from the glass office above, a small smile playing on his lips. He'd seen hundreds of prodigies, but none like her, raw talent wrapped in humility. Months passed. Under Sam's leadership, the company unveiled a new hybrid engine that revolutionized fuel efficiency. Media outlets hailed it as the invention that could reshape luxury vehicles forever. When reporters asked Richard how he discovered her, he simply said, "She fixed what we couldn't. Not just an engine, but how we look at people." At the next Auto Expo, the spotlight fell not on him but on her. Samantha stood on stage, explaining the engine design with passion and clarity. Richard clapped the loudest in the crowd. After the event, he approached her. "You know," he said, smiling, "when I first met you, I thought you were just a mechanic." She laughed.
And now?
"Now I know you're the reason the world runs smoother," he said. Sam looked around at the flashing lights, the cars, the future she never thought she'd have, and whispered, "Guess engines weren't the only things worth fixing."